little bit.
You got it. All right.
I can't. I'm not on the chat.
And go.
Good job. What is up, everybody? Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Oh, why am I? What's going on?
I know. Why is the thing over there and what's happening? I can't even see.
I don't know.
Well, all right.
You got this.
Yeah.
You got that.
We're good.
Welcome, everybody. You guys know what to do. Welcome to Sean and Lacey Live. Hey, if you're brand new to the transmission, please make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel. We've got all of our friends gathering on a Wednesday night. And today we're giving away how much money?
Oh gosh. $400?
$400?
I don't. How much money are we giving? Well, first off, let's find out who is producing the show tonight, and then they can tell us how much money we're giving away.
Who's the producer?
Who's the producer tonight? We already got sound effects. We were on time.
Boom.
There
he is. Bobby is on the
look at
production.
Bobby's setup, too.
I know. Where are you at?
I'm at home.
Oh, is that your podcast setup?
It is. I'm in my area, so I won't mess things up.
Oh, there you go. You're in your own domain, so that works out. Yeah, you look all cleaned up too. You got a new haircut.
I did.
Oh,
So
look at that, Bobby getting
Brand
cleaned up for the
new
holidays.
Bobby Dilute for
the
the
podcast
holidays.
dude. All right.
Bobby Dilute.
Yo.
Hey, Bobby, how much are we giving away tonight?
we are giving away $400.
That's what I thought.
$400.
$400.
Right.
4 names tonight. $400. We hope it's one of you.
That means there'll be 14 people watching because there's only $400.
Why do you put
on
that in the
line.
universe? There should be
1,400.
400.
There should be 1,400.
1,400 people watching. That's right.
Well,
You're not giving away enough money. You're not giving away
Oh.
enough money. That's why.
well, with that $400, you can buy a whole lot of Riot.
Oh.
Tonight's episode of Sean and Lacey Live brought to you by Riot Energy, USDA organic energy in a can. You need to get some Riot. We love Riot. You always see me with Riot and sparkling water.
Who loves Riot?
That's what fuels me. Make
We
sure that
love
you get your
Riot.
Riot. I love the pink one. The pink one's
You
my
do.
favorite.
That is your favorite.
Pink one's my favorite. You guys should check it out. Riot Energy, tonight's sponsor. What else you got, Bobby? Oh,
All right.
Maybe that
Maybe it's
explosion was
just-
Bobby's podcast studio. It just
Because
went
we
up
are
in
not
smoke.
moving very quickly through
I
our...
muted myself. Sorry.
Okay, well,
What
let's
else you
see.
got?
What do we got?
Give us another thing to pimp out.
We got.
What do we got going on? Oh, us.
Oh,
Hey, I'm on the
everybody.
TV.
Mastermind.
there we go.
Hey, the resiliencymastermind.com. The resiliencymastermind.com. You can join Michael Chandler and Lacey and I in Nashville, Tennessee. We're getting together January 12th and 13th. We have an amazing event planned. It's going to be super cool. We're going to get to know you on Friday, but I don't mean just like a mixer. We have content and together time on Friday. Saturday, all day with Iron Mike Chandler, who's moving into the entrepreneurial space. So he doesn't only beat up people for a living. He is an incredible businessman.
He lifts up people in business.
He lifts up people in business. He is also extremely resilient. He's been through a lot of trials and tribulations, and we're going to lay out for you a framework to make sure that you are prepared to withstand whatever 2024 might bring your way. You need to be there. If 2023 was anything less than everything you expected, you should get registered at www.theresiliencymastermind.com. And I know for a fact that a lot of you are thinking in your head how much we are charging for this. Go to theresiliencymastermind.com. Check it out. It's way less than you are thinking because that's how we teach people. This is our first initiative with Iron Mike Chandler.
I'm super excited.
It's going to be super full. Oh, and then don't forget, following the event on Saturday, You and Michael Chandler eating steak, and Michael can eat some steak.
Oh,
I've
geez
seen him
Louise.
eat a lot of steak at STK in Nashville. It is going to be over the top, amazing. Go to www.theresiliencymastermind.com. What about sales revenue profit? Sales revenue profit coming up March 15th and 16th. You need to get your tickets. Go to www.blackdiamondclub.com. We have me and Lacey. We've got two special guests. I'm on the verge of announcing that. I'm waiting for one more confirmation to come in. Then I'm going to just let everybody know who will be presenting along with you and I. You have to lock in your tickets. Sales revenue profit, Dallas, Texas, March 15th and 16th. Where are my BDC peeps? I want to know who you think will be showing up in Dallas
Ooh.
alongside of us. If you're in Black Diamond Club and you're watching this, put in the comments your best guess for who we're going to be having teaching sales at Sales Revenue Profit. You know, we only go with the best.
I know,
We
I'm
call
super
out the
excited.
best. We get the best in the business to come out. I know there's a lot of social media best. We go for the best. We want you to
So
learn
you can
from the
be your
best.
best.
And in a new, new name, Sales Revenue Profit, new format, new format in Sales Revenue Profit, because now revamping, we're revamping and cleaning up a lot of things about the Sean and Lacey brand and the way that we're disseminating information to you. I have no doubt that you're going to leave Dallas, Texas, ready to sell the thing that you do in an environment that I have no doubt will be tougher than it is today to sell. But we're going to prep you. We're going to arm you with all of the latest strategies so that you're super prepped to sell the thing that you do, so that you can reach more people, make an even bigger impact, and to create the lifestyle, because you get money when you sell, and there's nothing wrong with money. Don't forget, coming up, abundance and overflow in, I believe it's July of 2024 at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, home of the 2024 NBA All-Star Game. You will be sitting in the very arena where LeBron and his cast and crew of merry all-star people will be playing basketball in February. We'll be there in February too, but you can come out and join us in July and sit in that arena, learn abundance and overflow, all things abundance, mindset, money, getting you into a state
All
of
the
overflow,
things.
and then of course get more people. I think that's what it's called.
Chris Helms wrote, I love money. I remember I used to always say that. I love money, but mostly money loves me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have any good
money
guesses?
loves you too, everybody. Money is attracted to you.
Do we have any good guesses for people?
No, that David Meltzer. But that's like
Always David
yeah,
Meltzer.
it's always David Meltzer. It's not a good guess.
It's two more.
There's two more.
It's two more.
I know. Keep guessing.
They can't guess it.
No.
Not
okay.
Michael Chandler.
Not
Somebody
Michael
said Meltzer
Chandler.
and Chandler. Not Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Not that he wouldn't come, but
No.
that's in March, and I know this isn't like some official MMA show.
Yeah.
But Michael will probably be busy in
March.
March.
We hope Michael will be busy in March.
He's not gonna be able to come to Dallas. That's what I know. He's not gonna be able to come to Dallas.
Dexter. Yeah, Dexter might make a cameo. You never know.
Dexter might show up. That would be cool.
That would be cool. You want to show up?
Hey, what else we got on there, Bobby? Join the free group for service-based entrepreneurs. It is called the Service-Based Entrepreneur Club. Type that in Facebook, search the Service-Based Entrepreneur Club. That's where we're dropping tons of free, absolutely free content for service-based entrepreneurs. We would love to have you as a part of the group. We're in the holiday season, and like we said, retooling. We've been teaching some of our marketing strategies. Our marketing strategies work too well, and so we're bringing on some new people on board the team to help to service all of you that are members of the group. So jump in there, buckle up. We're going to be back at dropping continuous free content at you. So make sure that you are in the group if you like free content and you like to grow.
Andy Frisella is a good guess. That's a really good guess. And he
Did we have
would
two
be
Andy Frisella guesses?
well, no, somebody said that would be sick. And I agree. He would be fantastic at sales. But that is not who it
Hey,
is. But that's a
oh.
fantastic guess. I like it. And Milette's a great guess. Oh, just keep them coming. Pastor B, Brian Galke. That's a
Here's-
good guess because
here's
he's
what I
out there
know.
too.
So typically when you see these events, and so don't forget, guys, we are going to be hosting, we're shoring up details. A lot goes on putting events, a lot goes into putting events
Yeah.
on. A lot of people are lucky and they put on one event a year. And it's super clunky, like because you get there and registration's all screwed up and it's all
Oh, people have
disorganized.
told us some
It's
nightmares
running
about
4 hours
registration. Yeah.
behind, and it's like right, so like everything is all messed up. And these people, it's
Mm.
because they watch other people doing events. But here's the other thing: there are a lot of people that do great events. Here's what I will tell you: go on your social media feed and start scrolling through, and you keep seeing the same 7 people that speak at every single event. It's like a traveling, tour of
Yeah.
these 7
Yeah.
people. I will tell you
Which
this:
is great.
we don't bring
But
the
it's not them.
Magnificent Seven into our events. It's
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent.
We bring, and they are magnificent. They're
They
all
are.
great people, and we love them. But they just go around. I mean, and that's what people think will draw people into their event. So they bring the Magnificent Seven, the same faces, like they're all lined up, the same 7 faces. It's usually 6 guys and a girl, and then there you go. And that's not what we're doing. We are a little bit outside the box. These are people that you like see, and you're like, dang. Like everybody loved Josh Luber,
He was really good.
founder of StockX. Everybody loved Clinton Sparks, right? Record producer, loved Clinton. They loved Clinton. That's the type of
Stephen
people.
Lovegrove.
People loved Stephen Lovegrove. Oh man, I've already seen him popping up on collaborations with other people that were there. That's what we bring you. That caliber of people. And I'm not
Excited.
knocking Ed Milet or Andy Frisella, but that's just not our jam.
They
They are our
already,
jam,
they
but
are,
that's not our
but
jam
they
at a
already
thing.
have lots of opportunities for their message to get in front of
And you
all
can
of
go
you.
to you could go to any, just look at the closest entrepreneur event closest to you.
They
They're
will be
speaking
there.
there. That's where they'll be. That's not what sales revenue and profit is. And in fact, if you're in these groups, you've probably heard them speak. We're talking about people that you're like, dang, I get to hear them. And of course, I know you've heard David Meltzer, but he's our friend.
Yeah.
He's like family. He's
family.
like Dexter. Somebody text David Meltzer and tell him, Sean said you're like Dexter.
Family.
You're family.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
We're giving away $400.
We
We're
are.
drawing 4 names. You know how this rolls, people. If you're in Black Diamond Club or Book Yourself Solid Network, if you're not, get in those. Go to blackdiamondclub.com or bookyourselfsolid.com. Get into either one. Your name gets entered into the digital canasta, baby. The digital canasta. And tonight we spin it up 4 times. And if we call your name, you've won $400. Here's all you have to do is you have to comment that you're here in the comments, and you have 30 seconds to do so. So you might want to test out your comment machine. Make sure it's working. Oh, and by the way, I've got one more, Bobby. Let's tell everybody about our amazing Instagram lives that we do with Pastor Brian Hall. Elevate your game every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Listen, I feel for y'all on the West Coast, but last week I was on Pacific time, 7 a.m. and I did it live. Bright and early. You can get on there. It will enrich and elevate your life.
It's a great way to start your day.
Yeah, you get a little pastor. It's a great way to just start your week on Tuesday. You get a little Brian Hall to kick off your week. Man, don't miss it. Set an alarm. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Instagram. You can jump on my handle or Brian's handle at, what is it? I think it's at Brian Hall.
Yeah.
And boom, I think it's on there. It's on the screen somewhere. Maybe.
Coach, tell us what it is. Coach Brian Hall.
Coach Brian Hall. And if you need, listen, this is a difficult time for a lot of people. If you need some support, reach out to Brian. He's there for you. I always try to direct everybody that needs support to Brian because he's a good support person. Not me. I'm just here to yell at you.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, let's yell about writing a book.
Okay. A lot of people, y'all should write a book. We've done a lot of content on how you guys should all have a podcast. Yep. It falls into the same category. Great opportunity in the world for you to get your message out to people. One, I want to revisit by having a podcast. I mean, and I think that was probably a logical place to start.
Sure.
You create your podcast, you start to elevate your personal brand, you start to find your rhythm, you start to talk about topics that you find that your audience and your community enjoys. And from that, we could parlay that into a book. Now, our book is called None of Your Business. Our podcast is called None of Your Business. So you could do something similar where they're the same. Here are my here are my thoughts. Writing a book, first and foremost, gives you a lot of legitimacy. It creates authority. So it's a standard credibility builder, as we say in Book Yourself Solid. And in fact, it's beyond just your website, your business card, your personal brand, your social media. It goes beyond that and it elevates your status to, oh wow, this person wrote a book. There's something to being on Amazon, being on Barnes and Noble.
Well, I was going to say one of the reasons why is because people, including all of you probably listening to this that haven't
Right.
written a book, think that writing a book is very, very difficult.
It can be.
It can be, but it can also not be. And so I think that that's the little secret that we're going to give you this evening is that writing a book can be much easier than you think.
Well, it can be very easy.
Mhm.
Now,
Especially with AI now.
Yeah, well, don't have AI write your book.
No,
'Cause
you
then it's
really
not
should
you.
write your book.
But let's say first and foremost, podcast, book, standard credibility builders. I think that every single one of you should have a podcast and a book. Now, here's what happens. People are like, well, nobody's listening to my podcast and nobody's going to read my book. Well, that's okay because they're standard credibility builders. The fact that you have a podcast and that you continually drop content is a standard credibility builder. You meet people and they're like, oh, wow, you have a podcast, and then you'll slowly build your listenership. But it's really not about that. It's not a vanity metric where, oh, I want to be here, there. Also, too, I learned something interesting this last week in some of our conversations. We were in Vegas and a lot of business people, entrepreneurs. And I always see people posting like, hey, my podcast is number 4, number 1, number 10 in these categories. And much like Amazon bestseller status, that can be manipulated. And so I learned that there's a difference between your ranking. So you could be ranked number whatever and your downloads. And downloads is pretty interesting, like how many downloads you get. That's a different metric, but you might not be getting very many downloads, but still might rank. An interesting trick that could happen. Also, you might not sell that many books on Amazon, but be an Amazon bestseller in, the white chair category or, the whatever, beauty for Asian
Right.
men. And then you're like, wow, I was number 1 in beauty for Asian men. And
There's now
there
a
you go.
competition for that, probably.
Yeah, if you sold 2 books, you probably are an Amazon bestseller in the category, which, by the way, you get to pick your categories that you want to be ranked in.
Would you read a book for beauty for Asian men? You're an Asian man.
I'm only half Asian, so I'd only read half the book.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, standard credibility builder. Next. Here's where I wanted to go. I think that people say next is like, okay, so I get it. I should have a book, but I don't know what I'm going to write it on. And so this is super simple. You would write a book on a solution for a problem that you can solve.
Yep.
Super simple. Not solving your ideal client's every problem, but a problem that you can solve.
Well, here's the reason that I love starting with that versus like your life story, which a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to tell my story, right?
Sure.
Which actually I think that telling your story is more difficult to write, even though it happened to you, because you're so emotionally invested in it, right? And I've talked to a lot of people like, I've been writing my book for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, because they're trying to tell their story, and there's a lot of emotion and potential judgment about how it will be perceived. When you're writing about solving people's problems, it's more logical. You can
You're talking about them.
You're talking about them. You can step out of it. And so I actually think that helps people get the book out faster. So if you're going to start somewhere, I love starting with this.
I'd love to see people light us up in the chat. What is one problem that you can solve for your ideal client?
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be the
One
primary problem. It does not have to be the primary problem. It's a problem. I really want our next book to be on relationship capital, but now a lot of people are moving into that. But like that's something that I learned that I can help people to learn as well. I have a lot of fun. We were with James and Tamika in Las Vegas. I have a lot of fun bringing people now into that realm and introducing them. Ike from Ike Sandwich was there. So that was super cool to hang out with Ike.
Cool.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And introducing people, because I've learned that skill. It's not natural to me. So I would love to write a book on that. Maybe it's like relationships for introverts or something where we explain how just because you're an introvert or just because you don't think you're good at relationships, especially when it comes to business, how you can apply certain strategies and tactics to build solid, long-lasting relationships. I feel like we could really write a great book on that. But that's a problem. It is not the problem that our clients have.
All right, people. I don't see anybody talking about the problem that they could solve. So this is why you haven't written a book yet.
Because you solve no problems. But if you don't solve any problems, this is why you struggle in business.
I got 99 problems and a book is definitely one. So what do we got?
Yes.
Somebody tell us, what problem do you solve? What would you write a book about?
So number one, you have to and keep writing that and there's no wrong answer.
No,
You can
no
say
wrong
I'm
answer.
going to
What do
write a
you
book
love
on how to
talking
change a
about?
tire.
Yeah, what could you
Yeah.
just talk about forever? Yeah.
Yeah,
There
there we
we
go.
go.
Now they're coming in. Yeah, you could write
Thank
a
you.
book on
I
whatever.
love
Maybe
it.
it's something that you've overcome that you can
Look
help
at
people
that.
overcome. Maybe it's a condition that they might have. Maybe you know how to, the secrets to winning at blackjack. Maybe whatever it is, right? That you're like, yeah, I have this knowledge and I can help people solve this. Which, by the way, if you knew how to win at blackjack, you know any books that you would sell,
Yeah.
right? If you knew how to repair a relationship. I know one of our friends is putting out content on basically like
Yeah.
bulletproofing a marriage. You know how like that's a great if you know how to give relationship advice because you've been there, done that, learned the lessons, and now you're sharing it. That's a great book. That's an awesome book. Maybe you know how to be organized. They had the whole thing.
Ooh.
How does it make you feel? Who is that? What is her name? The throw out the stuff that doesn't make you
Oh,
feel
Marie
joyful.
Kondo.
Marie Kondo, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you just know
Yeah.
that, right? And
Marie
again,
Kondo your
I
life.
think if you
Yeah.
look at some of the best books and the most popular books, it's not like they solved world peace. What they did is they solved a niche problem for a niche audience. And so you have to
Absolutely.
figure out, okay, so I can help you to be more organized. I
Lonnie
can help you
Wilson says,
organize your
"How I
closet.
know how to win in spades." I don't even know what spades is. So
What?
that's a very niche, obviously thing, right? Like if you could teach people how to win in spades.
You didn't go to college?
I did go to college. What's spades?
Spades. They play spades. It's kind of like Tonk, but I don't think people know what Tonk is.
Tonk, definitely don't know what Tonk is and don't know what spades is. All these like one name games, I'm out. I don't know. I don't know. What is
Jeez
it? It's a
Louise.
college game?
No, it's a card game, but it's
Oh,
easy
okay.
when you play
But then no,
spades.
there's some great ones here. Marketing on a shoestring budget. I love Aaron O'Connor's with treating your dogs naturally, getting
That's a
them
great
over to
one.
raw food. I mean, like you guys are plantar fasciitis. I'm seeing all sorts of things running through the chat here. I mean, there's some great problems that can be solved through the book that you need to write. All of you.
Okay, next. I find the problem that I can solve. Here's the next thing I do. I just start making content about it. And I think that people super overlook this, which is why I think that you should have the podcast. So now I can start making a bunch of podcasts. Super excited. We have some really cool things coming down the pipeline in the podcast world. I mean, really cool. Yes, you know what we're doing in the podcast space.
That. Yes.
So you could make
I was like, what are you I thought you were talking about our podcast.
you could make we have school. Hey, for everybody too, total revamp of the None of Your Business podcast coming in January. Fresh look, fresh format. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Fresh intro, fresh
It's like
everything.
we were able to finally this year like rebirth ourselves, like reinvent ourselves, be our true authentic selves.
And listen, the birthing process isn't always easy.
No.
And sometimes it's painful.
Yeah.
But what beauty comes out the other side?
Yeah. So maybe
you should be rebirthing yourself. Maybe you could write a book on rebirthing yourself.
But maybe I made the Spades Junkies podcast.
There you go.
This is a podcast. It's all about playing spades and strategy about playing spades and how you can win, because we're offering, and also too, maybe you tell stories about how you utilize this strategy. You tricked your friends into playing for money and you took all their money because they didn't know the strategy, right? And you make this podcast and maybe there's like competitions. I'm sure there's spades competition somewhere. And I start bringing in the best spades players as guests, and I'm interviewing them. And then here's what you do. You just transcribe all the podcasts. Now, not that I would necessarily use just AI, but there are programs out there.
Yeah.
Well,
you have to clean it up.
You have to clean it up, right? So then but I have the makings, because a lot of times these things that everybody's sharing, like I have the solution for, but then you know why they don't? Because I remember very clearly our very first encounter ever with Jay Abraham. And we were sitting in his office in Torrance, California, and we were telling him our story, kind of our journey. And he was like, wow, you guys should write a book. And I made a sour face. I was like, what? And he said, I can see you don't like the idea. And I was like,
Sean did not like the idea.
I was like, well, it wasn't that. I said, it's not that I don't like the idea, but here's where I think everybody is. I said, but I can't see myself sitting at my computer, clanging away at the keyboard, banging out a book, because that's where
everybody gets hung up. That your skill set is not a writer. right? Like,
Right.
so you're not a writer and yet you're
I don't
trying
even
to
know when to put
write
in a
a book.
semicolon.
Right.
I write like I talk. If you've ever read any of my emails, you know, it's just, I'm just writing like I talk,
And
but that's not going to work.
I way overuse commas. I mean, like, the book would be full of commas. It'd be a disaster.
But then Jay said that's not the only way to a book. And so we used a service where we had a ghostwriter, but they were a phenomenal service, and they really got into our mind and really were able to take our ideas and concept, because and this is what I learned, is it was done over a series of interviews, hours long, where we just talked about the concept. Well, you don't necessarily have to have a ghostwriter interview you. You could take your own content and all by yourself just talk on a podcast. There's your book. It's coming there. That's how None of Your Business was great. It just
Pretty
came out of
much.
our mouths. And then they did a phenomenal job. You know what I love about the service is that they did a phenomenal job maintaining our voice.
Yeah.
It's like people say, like, hey, if you read None of Your Business, it sounds like you, right? They maintain the voice. Well, if you made podcast content and had it transcribed, guess what? It would be your voice.
Yeah.
It would be done
And it
in
would
your
be,
voice.
I love seeing everybody's comments because I said I overuse commas. We've got some, Aaron uses dot, dot, dot.
use that,
We've
dot,
got,
dot.
yeah, use dot, dot, dot. Some people don't use enough commas. Other people have potty mouths. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, when we say your voice, it's the cleaned up version of your voice, but it sounds like you. You literally can read None of Your Business and you can hear Sean reading it, which is pretty amazing.
So now I figure out what the problem is that I solve. I create my podcast. I create content
Terry.
around that particular solution that I'm able to provide. I can then take the best of that content, section it down, transcribe it. Now I have my book. Now we have to edit it. So this is where we get somebody that knows when to use a semicolon and how to use commas. And they go in and they have to read and they edit it. And then we're ready to publish it. Now this is where it gets tricky, because this is another area where, you know, and we're just shooting you straight here on Sean and Lacey Live. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I got to get a publisher. Well, not necessarily, because you could self-publish. And I think that's probably the best route for the majority of you on here.
Unless you're trying
Now,
to get like New York Times best-selling offer, which you actually probably have to pay for, I think.
I don't know if you could talk about that, but yeah, you could pay for placements like that, Wall Street Journal,
but you
New York
probably would
Times,
need
you
like
can
an
pay.
actual publisher to get placements like that. But if you're trying to get it for credibility and just trying to get your message out there and get more visibility to who you are and your
You
brand.
don't have to have an actual publisher.
Oh, I thought
No,
you did.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, you self-publish.
So you can self-publish.
Yeah, self-publish, Chris. Yes.
But here's the thing: there is a certain cachet to having a publisher. There's a certain cachet. So a lot of people like to run around and say, one of the big ones right now, Wiley. I see a lot of our entrepreneurial friends that get picked up by Wiley. FYI, Book Yourself Solid is a Wiley published book. And shout out and recognition to Christine Zapata. Book Yourself Solid for chiropractors. Book Yourself Solid for chiropractors. Available for pre-order. Available for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So go on Amazon, go on Barnes and Noble, search Book Yourself Solid for chiropractors. If you're a chiropractor and you're on this live or you're watching this back, you need to pre-order the book. I'm going to tell you why in a second, but you need to pre-order the book. But that is a Wiley published book. So that's super cool. I remember telling Christine, holy smokes, you're a Wiley author, right? You're published by Wiley. And that does hold a certain level of cachet. But for the majority of you that are doing this, it's not why we're doing it. We're not trying to be an author. We're trying to get a message out to establish, as a standard credibility builder, authority in the community around a certain topic, whether it's, you know, how to take care of your pet holistically, or how to play spades, or how to negotiate, or how to bulletproof your marriage. We're establishing you as an authority in that space, but it's got to get published or nobody can read it.
Right.
Now, once we're published, we've got to get it placed on the sellers, and most people, Amazon. That's where we're going to go. We got to get this account set up properly, and we've got to pick our categories wisely. I have no doubt that Book Yourself Solid for chiropractors will hit Amazon bestseller status in the chiropractic space, because it's not that hard. Not that it's not a good book. It's a great book, and it's a Wiley book.
There's lots of books being released
every
all the time,
week
every
on
week.
chiropractic in the space. So we come on the scene, we sell a handful of books, bang, Amazon bestseller status in the space of chiropractic. Business, entrepreneurship, harder, harder road to journey, because a lot of books come out on business, entrepreneurship all the time. And we are limited because it's a very niche book. Book Yourself Solid for chiropractors. We also have Book Yourself Solid for coaches, imminent. And we have Book Yourself Solid for creatives, imminent, coming out right behind on the heels. But here's the thing. Here's how you do it. You get listed on Amazon. I'm going to reveal the trick here. You get listed. Then we roll the book out. Wiley, because they're a publisher, it's available for pre-order. But our book got listed on Amazon, and it was listed, but we never told anybody. But then you initiate. So here comes the marketing arm of this, a mass push on the sale of your book. And what's important are book sales and reviews. So you have to drive. Listen, if you have purchased a copy of None of Your Business, if you've read Lacey and I's book, please run over to Amazon right now. You're on your computer, run over to Amazon, leave us a review. Reviews
Super
matter.
helps. Yes.
I mean, and a book it's way older than I thought, actually, our book. I think I told someone the other day it was 3 years old. It's much older than 3 years
How
old.
old is it?
I don't know. It's old,
Oh.
but it's been around. But you can still leave a review today.
Yeah.
Reviews and sales. This will drive your book up to status. And once you've achieved the bestseller status, you get the ribbon, and now you can go out and market.
And this works literally with any category if you had the right amount of reviews, right? Like
and
sales, because you have to remember, like, some categories again are much more competitive than others. So also you have to pick your categories wisely.
Yeah. So
considering
spades
this
would be easy.
Yes.
If I wrote the book on spades and that's a category, it's probably like what, board games and cards or something like
Yeah.
that, right? Then it would be easy to get bestseller status there. Next, nobody writes a book to make money,
Right.
unless you get an advance with a
Right.
publisher, right? So then, but then very interesting, because I've learned this now because we've had to deal with our publisher. There's a lot of stipulations. This is another reason why I would steer people away from a publisher, is you got to know that you're going to sell books. Because, when you hear about so-and-so got $1 million advance from the publisher, well, they're on the hook for selling a certain number of books. Now, if you're a celebrity, you already know you're going to sell the books. If you have a TV show, you're going to promote it on your TV show, and you're going to sell those books. So of course you got $1 million advance. If it's you, that's scary, because then the publisher's like, all right, great. Chris Helms, we'll publish your book, but you got to sell 25,000 copies, and we'll give you an advance. We'll give you money. And Chris is like, wow, this is great. I just got $50,000, to make my book. But then you gotta move 25,000 copies. And if you don't, you're on the hook for the copies. So there goes your $50,000, right? Like,
you're buying
the
it
books
back.
aren't $2.
You're literally
Yes. And this is why you see a lot of people that have they're actually published books from publishers, and they have tons of books that they give out for free all over the place, right? A lot of deals don't contain that. So it just depends who you are and how you negotiate. But that's another, point for, if you're not going to move tons of books, you should self-publish. Also, by the way, placements in bookstores are oftentimes paid for.
Yes.
So especially in the airports, right? So you actually pay money to be in the airport bookstores. A lot of people don't know this racket that goes on with books.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you publishing your book. And then here it comes. Because we don't write books to make money, we write books to market. So now you can utilize your book as a loss leader, right? Especially if you self-publish. Now I can go out and I can then bulk print my own books, make a web page where I'm actually now getting this out, right? And I'm using it as a loss leader, giving away your books for free.
People do this all the time.
Yeah.
Some people charge you for shipping and handling. Some people say, we're going to pay it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Shipping and handling is $3 or $4 or $5. It's not a lot. So even if you charge for it, great. If you don't charge for it, it's a true loss leader now, because you have the cost of the book and the shipping. But if you have on the backside of that the ability for people, like maybe you have a course on spades, or you have a convention or a gathering where we all play spades and it costs money to enter, then it would make sense. I leverage my book, I get it to you for free. Now I've captured your information. I have your name, email, and address because I sent you the book. And then at that point, I'm able to market to you. And if you liked my book on spades, you might want to take my course on spades. You might want to come to the Spades conference and play spades against the best in the world for a fee.
And then not even that. I mean, we're talking about printed copies of the books. A lot of people give away the digital copies too.
Yep.
And so you can utilize the digital copies as credibility builders, trust builders. You can utilize those as loss leaders, download the PDF version of my book. There's all sorts of things that you could do once you have a book.
Somebody said they left a review. That's
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. As a relationship capital piece of advice, I always talk about this, and I don't know where I was. I was with somebody, and they confirmed it. An author. Authors read the reviews just like you guys do. So when somebody leaves you a review, Google review, Yelp review, a review somewhere, you read those. You read those. So do those people, you mentioned earlier. So do those people that you admire, those names, they read those reviews.
Yes, they
So
do.
leave reviews because that also helps you to get on their radar.
I love it.
That's
Good
what I
stuff.
have for writing a book. How are the people doing?
They're doing great. And I think I saw somewhere Chris Helms said he wrote 5 books. Maybe he said 5 books,
Wow.
if I saw it in the chat correctly. So listen, I mean, you can do it. You can get out there and you can write a book. If you've always had the idea of a book in your mind somewhere, you've always felt like you had a message to share or a major problem that you can solve that unlike anybody else, get your book out.
Get your book
It's
out.
easier than you think.
There's lots of services out there that will help you with ghostwriting, with publishing, with editing. So yeah, we don't love to just promote certain things and tell you to do this thing or that thing. There's tons of them.
There's tons of them that you can find.
You can find them all over the place. And I think if you're like, hey, I recognize I need a book, but I need help. Yeah. Find one of them and get yourself your book made.
I love it. So it's time for 2 things. It's time for you to write a book. And it's time for us to draw 4 names.
4 names.
To give away $400.
Let's do it.
Bobby, show us what you got.
Oh, dang.
He was ready to go.
Oh, Anne-Marie.
Press that
Go.
timer.
Brand new, Book Yourself Solid, Mastermind. She's in the Mastermind member.
Oh, I love Anne-Marie.
Ready to go. Anne-Marie.
If you were
Is she
at
here?
Let's
last BDC
go.
event,
Is she here? Is she here?
I don't. We haven't seen her. We haven't seen her comment yet.
Oh.
But if you were at the last BDC event, you also probably, if you were new, you got one of those little
Oh, yeah. Check out Anne-Marie's business.
water bottles. Her business is amazing. She brands swag. Anne-Marie does some great stuff. Except for show up to BDC or Sean and Lacey live.
I
She
wish.
did not show up.
But hang on, don't be so
Aw.
quick yet, Bobby. Hang on one second there. I wish that somebody would post the link to Christine's book in Amazon
Oh yeah.
and Barnes and
Can
Noble.
somebody do that for
And I wish
us?
that somebody would post the link to Anne-Marie's company, if we could find that, if Jane is around.
Jane.
Jane is Anne-Marie's cousin.
Jane. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Somebody
All right,
post for
Bobby.
us. All right, Bobby.
Name number 2.
Name number 2.
Oh, I saw Matt Musgrave, but it's not Matt Musgrave. It's
Tiffany
Tiffany Wall.
All right, Tiffany.
Tiffany Wall.
From the window.
Let's go.
To the wall. Your name is Tiffany Wall. Did she win 400? Oh.
Come on.
Come on, Tiffany.
Let's go.
Tiffany.
Tiffany. You got just 10 more seconds, Tiffany. Let's go.
Come on, Tiffany.
You got $400 coming your way.
$400. But it was meant for somebody else because Tiffany was not on tonight. Still a winner. Just didn't collect winnings.
Yeah.
Just didn't claim the winnings, but still a winner.
It's like you had the winning Powerball ticket, and then you put it in your pocket, and then you put your pants in the wash. And you knew you won, but then you washed the ticket, and then you were like, no, I don't have it.
Yeah.
I had it, and now I
Oh,
don't.
can you imagine if that happened?
That'd suck.
That would really suck. Cancel. I don't want that in my universe at all. Bobby, name number 3.
All right. Name number 3.
Charge. Is that what that is? Jeremy McGrew.
Jeremy
Jeremy.
McGrew.
Jeremy,
let's go.
come on, Jeremy. You know what's really cool, Bobby? I see that you are branded with the Sean Bill. What is that?
Yeah, that's on the.
Oh, it looked like it was branded on Bobby, but it's
on
actually
the
branded
frame.
on the YouTube frame.
It's on
That's
the
really
frame.
cool. The
on the
S.
frame.
All right. Well, Jeremy, I am so sorry. Jeremy Hanley's on here, though. We were so close. Halfway there.
All right.
All right.
Name
Last-
number 4. Last name.
Last chance,
last
last shot.
chance.
And then we're
You
giving
guys
away
know.
All right.
$500
No. Somebody could win it.
next week if nobody wins.
Oh, he's got to be here.
You think he's here? Thomas, are you here?
Wait, he didn't start the
Oh,
clock.
clock.
Music.
Oh
Clock.
man. Oh,
Oh.
and he got like
He got some extra head start.
he got a head start. He got like an extra 8 seconds.
Come on, Thomas.
You
There's
remember
no
that?
excuse.
You actually remember that movie, 8 Seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a really good movie. Anybody else remember
What
8
was that
Seconds?
phone booth movie?
That was really
No.
the whole
that
time he
great.
was Colin Farrell in a phone booth
Yeah.
the entire
It's
time.
way better than those
Thomas
movies you
Dickard,
make
are
me
you here?
watch.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It was probably called Phone Booth. What was that movie called?
I don't know. But that one
Oh,
was cool. You made me watch that one last year. Remember? You looked at the Rock.
good.
That was
Stop
terrible.
it.
Oh
See,
my god.
thank you all. 8 Seconds is legit.
I love The Rock, and that movie was bad.
Sean just doesn't like movies, period.
You know
Okay,
what was
let's
good,
get it.
everybody? Equalizer 3.
We did watch that
I
the
like
other
that.
night. That was really
That
good.
was a good movie.
But we love Denzel.
Yes.
So there's that.
And Dakota.
And
She
Dakota
was in
Fanning.
there.
She was
She's
okay
back.
in it.
Yeah, but she's back from Man on Fire.
I know.
We need Man on Fire too. They said
Yes,
that might be
Sonia,
coming.
8 Seconds was about bull riding, and it was really good and sad, but good. I tell you.
Oh, what was the one? I had it
Jane
confused. What was the
texted
one
me,
where
so
they
I
stole
should have been
cars?
paying attention.
Wait, what was the one where they stole the cars? 60 seconds.
Yeah, like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60
Very
seconds.
different than 8 Seconds. Totally different. Other end of the spectrum, there,
Yes.
buddy.
52 seconds different. That's what it is.
All right. Well, 52 seconds difference, 30 seconds on the clock. Nobody claimed the prize this week.
Ooh,
Which
I
means
do. I
we're-
love New Jack City.
Yes, you do.
I forgot
Yes.
all about
Thank
New
you,
Jack
Pat,
City.
for reminding him. It's going to be on the TV.
And
very
Casino.
soon. Yes,
I love
yes.
Casino
And Scarface.
and Scarface and Goodfellas,
Goodfellas. Yeah.
and Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. If you
Boys
guys notice,
in the Hood.
there's a
love
theme.
That movie.
There's a theme of around the movies he likes.
Love that. New
James
Jack
Taylor and I
City.
have a really good list of movies.
We should watch
None of
New
those are
Jack
on
City.
there. Wow.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh my God!
Am I
Stomp the yard
my
and
brother's
drumline.
keeper?
Look at all of our employees calling you out.
I love
our whole
Stomp the
team. The
Yard.
team's like, we
love
know.
Drumline.
I know. James knows what's up. I know.
Love that.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
else, somebody else said that there was some other goofy movie that was better than Drumline. They posted it. I saw. They lost their minds. There's no movies better than Drumline.
I don't know. There's many movies better than Drumline. Many, many, many. What is that? What were you again?
Huh, Captain?
No, that's not what it's called.
I'm
the
the
drum
best.
major. You guys don't know this about Sean, but Sean was the drum major for school, and he did a phenomenal job. And I have little pictures of him
Yeah,
with his
one
little hat.
band, one sound.
There you go. That's
I
right.
love it. I love
All right,
it.
everybody. Well, number one, I hope you got inspired to write a book this evening.
You can write a book about movies.
You can write a book about movies, favorite movies. You can write a book about being a drum major and drum line. And you can write a book about showing up and claiming your prize and being a winner no matter what. You can write a book about whatever you want, honestly, just to write a book.
No, not just to write a book. So you could promote yourself,
Yeah. No, but
Standard
just, you can
credibility
write about
builder,
anything just to
boom,
write a book
become an
so that you
authority.
can promote it.
reach more people. We got to go. Bobby, great job on
Thank
the
you,
production
Bobby.
on the soundboard tonight. You did a phenomenal job. We had no glitches. Glitches are gone. We
Good
got
job,
an all-star
Bobby.
crew. No mistakes tonight. The digital, oh, we had one mistake. The little timer didn't start on Thomas.
But that's
Dicker.
okay.
That's all right. The
It
digital
worked out.
canasta was great. We didn't give away $400. We're adding $100. It would be cool if nobody wins next week, because then, like the Christmas week, is next week Christmas week? No,
No, it's the week
Christmas
after.
week would be
In
at
Christmas weeks, we're gonna do
$600.
prizes for kids again. So
Prizes for
definitely-
kids?
Yeah, I think
All right.
so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Prizes
I
for
like
kids.
giving away prizes for kids.
All right.
so-
Tell your kids they got to watch Sean and Lacey live Christmas week. We're giving away prizes for kids. And we might be giving away either $600 or $300. It depends on whether or not somebody wins next week. But don't worry. Next week, it's only going to be $500. That means that there will be 26 people watching. And there's like well over 1,000 names in the digital canasta. So don't you worry.
It's your chance
You got a
to
chance.
claim the winnings.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week.